So this particular pour is one of Amy Warden Soap challenges that is very aptly named, because at the end of this pour, when you cut it, you cry, either from tears of joy or tears of despair. And so, yes, I will tell you more about today's pour and whether or not I cried tears of joy or despair in just a moment. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 280 of 365 days of soap, and we are doing an Amy Warden Soap challenge. We are doing a teardrop. Crying. Either happily or sadly, depending on how good your pour was. Teardrops are actually, they're very cool pours in and of themselves, but again, with a lot of the soap challenges, I think I've mentioned this up to this point. If not, I will continue to mention it with a lot of the subsequent challenges that we will do. A lot of it has so much to do with trace and where you are actually soaping and what the fluidity of your batter is. This one is no exception to that rule. We are also working with a new scent from Nurture Soap today called Harlequin Romance, which I thought was very fitting because there's a lot of crying involved in Harlequin romances too, right? And so that's what we're working with today for the actual scent blend. Now, today's my turn on the teardrop. Tomorrow will be Georgia May's. And so let's go check out, my pour and what my design and my thought process was. And let's see again, whether I'm crying happily or crying sadly when it's all said and done. Oh, this is where the Amy Warden Soap challenges are going to start getting complicated, because we're making a teardrop. And the teardrop pour is, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. It's a beautiful thing. So it's much like a hidden feather or a hidden flower like we do for the rosé bar, but it's a teardrop. And the whole ass challenge with all of this is to make it look like a teardrop when it's all said and done. And that relies very heavily on the consistency of the batter. And we are using Harlequin Romance from Nurture Soap for this guy, which is a dupe of Lush's 1000 Kisses. And I'd never smelled that. And I hadn't smelled anything quite like this before. It's the description on Nurture Soap is it's a complex sensuality comprised of mandarin, osmanthus, myrrh, and labdanum. Labdanum? How do you say that word? It's LABDANUM-PRC. No, I mean, some of those letters don't actually exist in here. I just don't know how to say that. Labdanum. Okay, that. It is citrusy and resinous and mysterious compared to Lush brand 1000 Kisses. So it is pretty mysterious. It's pretty it's a very romantic scent. It's fine. It's not my cup of tea. I mean, if you like Lush's 1000 Kisses, then that's awesome. If you like unemulsified batter, then that's what you're looking at right now. And yeah, so I mean, the scent blend is good, right? But again, I don't know. The resinous quality of it is the thing that, again, makes it sexy. So it works, and I would say that it's probably a pretty good unisex scent, honestly. So that's cool. So I am stopping the mixing of this like just at an emulsion, if not maybe not quite at an emulsion, which is, you should never do that. make your soaps in emulsion. Just, it's better for you all around. But the thing is, with a teardrop pour, right, the thickness of the batter is more critical than most things out there in soap making. Because if it's too thin, it is going to go all over the place as you're trying to pour the teardrop. And if it's too thick, well, you're never going to get a teardrop. You need to have it at a very light trace, but at light trace, right? Like, you cannot soap at, I mean, maybe you could even get away with it at just an emulsion. But again, I stopped mixing this right before emulsion, thinking, well, I will be mixing in the scent blend and the colors and the kaolin clay into all of this. And so by the time that mixing is done, it will be at an emulsion and it will be great. And for the color palette that I am working with here, that's the guy on the screen there. That is my my design inspiration for that. And so those 4 colors plus a lighter green for the base, and yeah, all the things. And yes, so the consistency of the batter, the fluidity of the batter. If it is too fluid, it's gonna slip and slide all over the place, and if it's too thick, again, it's not gonna do anything. You want it to drop in like a teardrop swirl, right? But you're gonna continue building on this one little piece like a teardrop swirl, more and more, layering your colors on top of each other very slowly and gently. Do your thing and put in the, yes. And as you do that, the soap batter will start to expand out to the width of the mold. And then you take your base color and you zip them along the length of the mold, doing a wall pour to push everything back into the center. And so if you've done it right, the end result will be a teardrop, wide at the bottom, tapering off to like nothing, a little tip at the top. And again, it is all about the consistency of the batter for all of this. And again, too thin, it's gonna go all over the place, gonna slip and slide everywhere, and it's not going to, you know, teardrop. Too thick, it's gonna look like nothing. So that's the thing for teardrop. We are mixing all the colors, the scents are in, everything is ready to go. That batter still looks really thin. Foreshadowing, dun dun dun. And the rest of this is going to go into the main soap here because, you know, I didn't pour much off. Maybe about 2 ounces with each of the colored portions to do the teardrop inside. And let's go check out this pour and see what I did with this batter. Labdanum. Maybe I'm putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable for that. I cannot say that word. I don't know what that is the thing. So whether or not this smells like labdanum, I don't know, because I'm not familiar with this sorcery. So I have put about 1/3 or 1/2 of the base color down, and now it's time to start the teardrop thing, pouring pretty close to the actual surface of the soap itself. Slow, not overly thick with the pour, nice thin line in there, right down the middle of the soap. And then you're going to do the exact same thing for the next color, right on top. And it should have started pushing out that bottom layer. Right there is the point where I went, it's too thin. This isn't going to work. And yeah, you know, at this point, I'm like, well, what can I do? And I guess at this point, what I could have done really was taken my, you know, skewer or something to the rest of this batter here, the stuff that I'm pouring in the middle, and thicken it up. Work with it. All the things. Make it thicker. You know, mix it. And I didn't do that. I stayed committed to my... I'm committed at this point. And fun. But as I'm pouring this, this was a very hard soap to pour for camera, right? Because I'm actually flying blind. I can't actually see the middle, like the inside of the loaf for most pores. I can't see it. Like that part right there that's getting all crazy wacky down at the bottom part, I have no idea what the soap is doing right there. I can't see it. And I will not be able to see it until I can get my face right in front of the camera and, you know, check it out. And so I'm flying blind with all this, but even if I wasn't flying blind, it really wouldn't matter because the soap batter is too thin and it's taking too many layers essentially to widen this out closer to the sidewalls. And so that sucks. And as it does start widening out, look at that. It's like an acrylic pour at this point. Like the soap, it's too thin. It has a mind of its own. It's going where it wants to go instead of where I need it to go. And so those first like 2-3 bars there, and it just keeps moving. It just keeps seeping over the thicker soap batter underneath. Like, oh God. And at this point I have looked at it and I realized I'm going to go around to the other side of the table so I can zip this up with the remaining soap batter and actually see where all of these messes are. So I can sort of try to fix it and kind of get it in the middle. And I mean, to that, I guess I could soap on the other side of the table all the time so the camera's not in the way. But I don't do that. It's very rare that I do that. Didn't do it for this one. Should've. But look at how thick the soap batter got that has the, see, that's actually a fair amount of acceleration from the scent blend, which is interesting because I don't think this one said that it was supposed to accelerate. But also there's quite a bit more in this than maybe there needed to be. I was very scant with my fragrances in the teardrop colors. And so a lot of it ended up, the majority of it ended up into the big batch. And so that can thicken it as well. But this is just a disaster. There's nothing teardroppy about this. Look how thin the batter in the middle is. That's too thin. It's now like at an emulsion, but you really do need it at a nice thin trace. And the funny thing is, the first time I did this soap, like, because this was a challenge I think in like 2015, I want to say. And I did this soap. I actually did this soap 4 times. And I think I'll find pictures and post them. If not in today's video, then tomorrow's with Georgia Mays. I did this 4 times. And my problem was the soap batter got too thick. Too thick. I could not get it thin enough, right? And so I poured this soap 4 times and ended up with 4 not teardrops. Really? And so the opposite of the problem is true now. Like, I very rarely pour teardrops. I have 1 bar that I pour for one sudser. He is a delightful man whose wife loves this nectarine mint blend thing that I do that had, at that moment, it happened to have a teardrop, when they first saw it, happened to have a teardrop pattern on it. And she loves it. And so, like, it never fails. Once a month, he comes in and buys this 1 bar of soap. And I don't even put it on the shelf because I want to make sure that there's always soap for him, right? And so once a month, he comes in and he buys this 1 bar of soap. And it has to be the teardrop, and it has to, which is another reason why I don't put it on the shelf. Because yeah, one little batch like this, it'll last me a whole year of him coming in and getting it with the perfect teardrop. And because the teardrops are kind of tedious, and I haven't done them in a very long time. But yeah, so I poured the rest of the batter that I used for the teardrop on the top, going to just, you know, give it a little design, whatever. It looks beautiful. It is ready for C-pop and gel, and I don't really want to cut into this to see what kind of mess I have inside, but it's gonna be a mess, guys. And I so did not want to cut this bar that I actually had Georgia May cut this bar. She was at the shop, I was not, and she had sent me a message about her teardrop, and I said, if you want to feel better about the process before you start, just cut mine, because it'll be a big old mess. And so she cut it, and yeah, it's a big old mess. It's not, it's just not, you guys, it's not, it's not. That's a Oh, that's not a teardrop. That's not a freaking teardrop. That's getting closer. Kind of looks like a guitar there, though, doesn't it? Not a teardrop. It's not a guitar drop challenge. It's not a guitar challenge. Although that would have been cool for the teardrops on my guitar soap for the Taylor Swift self-titled. Yeah, that would have been cool. But yeah, see, that's a seahorse. Cool. We made a seahorse. It's not a teardrop. That's kind of getting closer-ish. Yeah, no, still not it. It's a, no, that's still a no. That kind of looked like a violin or something. It's a, yeah, there's a cello. I don't know what that is. It's nothing is the thing. What is that? That's, I mean, on that side it kind of has a teardrop-esque, whatever. The saddest little teardrop in the world in that one. It's not meant to be that small. Oh, and they just get smaller. That's adorable. This is my teardrop. Today I'm a Bush League soaper. Amy Warden Soap Challenge. Bested me, really. This is horrible, but that seahorse is cute. Look at that. See? It's not a teardrop, it's a seahorse. That's what I'm gonna name it. It's gonna be cool. And that is day I don't like making teardrop soaps anymore. Amy Warden Soap Challenge. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there were no tears at all with this one because it wasn't like a slam dunk, boom, baby. That was a beautiful pour. And it also wasn't I totally messed that up. It was kind of in between. I had a cute little seahorse that came out in a lot of those, and that's adorable. And so for me, yes, super cute bar of soap. I like it. It's not the perfect teardrop. It's not something that I would actually feel comfortable submitting for the Amy Warden Soap Challenge, but it's still very cute. Now, Georgia May will be doing this tomorrow. She will be doing her turn at a teardrop, and she's never done a teardrop before. So it will be interesting to see what she picked up from Amy Warden Soap Challenge tutorials and what she ultimately does with the bar. So definitely, if you want to check that out, you should subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when it's time for her to do her thing tomorrow. For those of you who are subscribed, hey, thanks for being subscribed. You're awesome, and I'm really proud to call you my sudsers for sure. I am done for the day. I will see you guys all again tomorrow for Georgia May's turn with the soap challenge, and yeah, that's the thing. Bye.